Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Harriet, and this is CT Talks,
bringing you insightful virtual conversations
with the people of Caltrans.
In each episode, we'll dive into the world of transportation, sharing stories from the road and discussing the latest innovative projects happening at Caltrans.
If you're curious about what goes on at one of the largest state departments, join us as we explore all things Caltrans. Live and recorded.
Get ready to ask your questions in the chat.
Show support and emoji love.
Get ready to be inspired. Let's get started.
All right, welcome everybody. Episode 16. Happy New Year. Kicking off January, and Happy Lunar New Year to those who celebrate. Super excited to accelerate your career today. We've got some really exciting discussion coming your way. And also you might have noticed that we have a new intro video, so we hope you like that. As it said in the video and Laura shared earlier, just continue to throw the emoji love up whenever you feel, whenever the moment strikes, because we love to see it. So with that, we'll introduce our panelists.
All right, so for today's panels, we have Christina Hisamoto, Alina Quintana, Tom Hicks, and Janae Lambert. Everybody say hello to the audience. There you go. We see you all. All right, awesome. All right, so we're going to get started now, and we're going to jump into telling you a little bit more about our panelists. I have the pleasure of introducing you to Christina Hisamoto, who began her career at Caltrans in Human Resources in 2007. She gained experience working in various capacities of exams and recruitment. She currently oversees the Office of Talent Acquisition, which includes recruiting on social media platforms such as Handshake or LinkedIn, attending in-person and virtual career fairs nationwide, and developing targeted strategies for hard-to-recruit classifications or locations. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you. So good to be here.
All right, next up, I'm going to introduce Alina Quintana, who is a career counselor and workforce development specialist with the Division of Human Resources here at Caltrans, with a focus on advancing occupational wellness and professional development. She has a background in culturally relevant career counseling and curriculum design, and Alina brings a wealth of experience in guiding individuals and organizations toward career growth and success. She strives to disrupt cycles of poverty and empower individuals and organizations to achieve their goals. Welcome, Alina. We're so happy to have you here today.
So happy to be here. Love all these pictures. Looking forward to sharing a little bit more with you all.
Love it.
All right, next up, I have the pleasure of introducing you to Tom Hicks. Tom has been with Caltrans since 2007 and stepped into his current role as Deputy Division Chief of Human Resources in 2017. Known for his knack for building strong teams, he drives talent acquisition, workforce development, and innovative HR solutions. A proud military veteran, Tom's leadership blends discipline with collaboration, creating impactful partnerships. His passion for mentorship and community engagement fuels his commitment to helping others thrive and creating a brighter workforce future. Welcome, Tom. Thanks for joining us.
All right, and last but certainly not least, I have the opportunity to introduce you to Janae Lambert, who serves as an Employee Services Coordinator at Caltrans District 2, and she is dedicated to recruitment and helping employees advance in their careers. With a bachelor's degree in business administration, Janae combines her expertise with a genuine passion for supporting people. She focuses on creating work environments where employees feel empowered, motivated, and equipped with the resources necessary to accelerate, see what you did there, Janae, their professional growth. Thank you so much for being here, Janae. We're excited to chat with you today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm super excited to be here.
All right.
All right.
Oh, go ahead, Laura.
I was just going to say, before we get started with the questions, I just put a reminder in the chat to please add questions in there for the panel. We're going to be pausing throughout this webinar. Harry and I will be passing those along to them. So go ahead and get your questions in there now. All right, and we're going to start off with the first question. Just going to go out to Alina to start with. What advice do you have for individuals looking to level up their careers, and what steps should they take to position themselves for success?
For this question, we were very intentional as we were thinking about the questions that we were posing for the session. And the first thing that stood out to me was in this question, the word should. And oftentimes what I talk to folks about is the importance of being intentional with our own goals and doing our due diligence and trying to follow our passions and our purpose and in alignment with our values. So what steps should you take after meeting with thousands and thousands, probably at this point more than 2,000 individuals, having the privilege of working alongside more than 2,000 individuals to support them in their career goals. I've come to find that there's no one perfect formula. There's not one perfect formula that'll help you accomplish your goals. So as far as what you should do what's right for you. And what typically assists us in finding out what's right for us is ensuring that we have that clarity, that we are attempting to learn things and try things and be in spaces that are challenging us. Additionally, seeking outside support. I can't stress this enough, and you're probably going to see this as a theme of our conversation today, is that we don't grow in isolation and we don't grow in our comfort zone. So oftentimes what the steps that will allow us to position ourselves for success entails us seeking out support, seeking out community, and seeking out those uncomfortable situations that allow us to learn and grow and highly encourage everyone today to take that into perspective and to ask yourself, what difficult thing am I working on right now? And if nothing comes to mind, maybe we're stuck in that comfort zone, and it's okay. But what's important is to start off by recognizing that. And then one final consideration as we're thinking about steps to be successful is allowing that flexibility and malleability through our career, and recognizing when, sometimes things aren't what we expected, right? We try things out and we realize that maybe it's not the best fit for us. That's okay. When you realize something isn't in your preference and you're not vibing with it, it's also part of your own career exploration and development, because you're recognizing what you're not interested in. And sometimes that's as equally valuable as learning what you do like. So be flexible. Allow yourself that opportunity to shift and to go in different directions. So that would be my advice for those that are looking to level up their success and to position themselves for success. Thanks.
God,
So
Alina,
many-
where were you when I was starting my career? Right? If I hear you, and I think what I took from you and what has definitely been something I figured out along the way, right, is be curious, right? You don't know what you don't know until you've experienced it. And I think I learned that along the way. And then just like you said, too, the alignment with your values and your personal strengths, you're going to find that in whatever you do. I thought it had to be a very rigid path, but you know what? It goes with you. It comes with you. It's a package deal. And so you'll definitely find that. So awesome answer, Alina.
Something when you're new to state service, you don't really know where to start. You don't really know how to move forward. And I know when I first started, I was told specifically apply to anything and everything, and don't discount yourself. Let them tell you that you may not qualify. And to me, that's kind of always stuck with me. It's evolved a little bit because, I don't want to ever tell anybody that they don't qualify, but, there could be other opportunities out there.
Speaking of being out of your comfort zone, I've been doing a lot of that over this last, I would say year, I guess. But I really noticed when you start to pour into your own cup, it doesn't just benefit you, it spills into all aspects of your life. So you'll see improvements in your personal life, your professional life, and you'll inspire others along the way. So it creates this ripple effect of growth. So remember that the energy that you put out will be the same energy that you receive. And something I like to keep in my back pocket every day is every day is an interview. So just give 110% each and every single day.
Absolutely. You guys all have so many great points there that you shared. I mean, we're getting all kinds of emoji love. Everybody's resonating with all the advice and tips that you're sharing here. I have a really good question in the chat. I want to put that out there. The first one I'm seeing here is having a family and attempting to accelerate in your career. Should one occur before the other? And how do you get your partner to support? Anybody here want to give an answer for that one? I see you shaking your head, Alina.
Thank you for calling out my expression. I think that I mean, as I mentioned, there's never going to be a perfect moment. I didn't mention that, but now I'll share that with you. There's never going to be a perfect moment for you to pursue your own growth or pursue an education or whatever it is you're working to do. There isn't ever going to be a perfect moment. So I think that it's always very difficult because folks are saying like, well, do I make one choice over the other? Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's important for you to keep true to your values. And at the end, you're going to decide whatever works best for you. And sometimes life happens, and that it decides for you. And in those situations, I think that we carry so much resilience and we carry so much potential that it's important for us to think about these situations and also like the resources that we have available to assist in our resilience. So I don't quite have an answer to that situation because that's outside of my experience. But all that to say is that, I mean, there's never a perfect moment for you to pour into yourself, as Janae mentioned, and for you to invest in your own development. But I'm sure that starting a family and growing your family, I can really resonate with that right now in my current state. It serves, your family oftentimes serves as a form of empowerment and assists you in really in that drive and building that drive that you need to accomplish your goals. So those are just some thoughts that are kind of coming to mind in this moment.
And you know what, Alina? I'm going to say that I did that, right? I did my career and had a family when I came into state service. And you're absolutely right in your answer. Like, there's motivation, there's inspiration. And remember, too, your career's not a race. A career lasts a long time, right? So it's not a stop, go, or if I miss it, like it's you're going to find out what works best for you in that happy balance. And your career is going to last that lifetime. So.
And I will say, like, for myself coming into this state, I just saw another question about it, so I kind of wanted to address it as a part of my answer. I'm a single mom. When I came into the state, I had just found out I was pregnant, and that was 17 years ago. I definitely took my time. I did not go forward with those promotional opportunities, even when they were available, because I felt like I wasn't ready for them myself. I had a lot going on. I think you just have to give yourself grace and, just be patient with yourself. I think it's okay to take a little bit longer to move forward and accelerate your career and keep it moving. I definitely didn't think I would be in management. It wasn't a step that I was really looking forward to taking in state service because I've seen what other managers had to go through, and like, it's a bit of a struggle. And the flexibility that's required. And it's definitely been challenging, but I'd say it's totally worth it. Like, I never would have thought that my passion and my interest would have led me this way. And it's been amazing.
To remember, everyone's on their own journey, and you don't need to compare yourself to the person next to you and others. So that's a really important thing too.
Awesome, really good nuggets that you guys are sharing here. Really good points. All right, I'm going to hand that over to Harriet next.
All right, so wonderful points, and yeah, please keep the questions coming because we will be dabbling into the chat throughout the webinar today. So it's January, it's National Mentoring Month, And so with that, how important is mentoring? How important is mentoring for our professional development, for our growth? What are thoughts on that? Janae, how do you feel about mentoring and how it contributes towards development?
I think it's huge. This is something I've never been a part of a mentorship program before prior to state service. And I was lucky enough to participate this last season. I had a fantastic mentor. It really exceeded all my expectations. I gained so much more than I initially thought, both personally and professionally. Like, I didn't know I was going to grow in my personal life from having this mentor through work. It taught me a lot about leadership, communication, navigating challenges. And it was something I really struggle with is building confidence and kind of showing that confidence. And Zumela, my mentor, really helped me with that and helped me expand my skills. So I would say one of the most valuable things about the mentorship program is the opportunity to network with someone you don't know. And I recommend it to everybody. It was amazing.
Thank you for that, Janae. Alina, how about you? Because you oversee the Caltrans mentorship program, right? Can you share a little bit of insight on the mentorship program formally, and then maybe just how mentorship plays a role in development?
Oh my gosh, I would love to. I feel like if you wouldn't mind, I would love to share a little bit of perspective myself about the importance of mentorship as well. From my perspective, from my experience being a first-generation American, a first-generation professional, there was little examples of people in my community, people within my family that were navigating these experiences, like having like an office job and navigating how to apply and how to develop experiences, how to network and things of that sort. So participating in mentorship programs like the ones that I had the privilege of participating, and I'll call out a few of my favorite ones, such as the TRIO McNair Scholars Program at UC Davis, such as the National Board of Certified Counselors Minority Fellowship Program that assigned different people to be your mentor and to support you really closely. Those were so formative to my experience. And without these experiences, I don't know if I would be here with you all. And that's because people really, really nourished me and supported my intellectual curiosity and helped guide me in the right direction. So I think for me, it's just such a incredible privilege to learn from others and to apply what I learned from them into my life, into my development. And I'm so privileged to serve now in the capacity of Branch Chief over the Office of Talent Management, which oversees, as you all learned, mentorship, workforce planning, career development, upward mobility, all these cool programs, and supporting our subject matter expert, Gene Harrison. I don't know if he's out there watching, but his work and growing our mentorship program to be one of the largest mentorship program, if not the largest currently within state service. And I think that's just such an admirable and exciting thing to say, considering that it's really putting into practice the Caltrans values. So for those of you that are interested in working for Caltrans, know that we really put into practice that philosophy of people first. And there's a lot of organizations that outsource their mentorship, and I talk about this often, but that's not us because we prioritize you here at Caltrans. So I just wanted to share that about the program. We removed barriers to participation, and we have over 500 participants in the program this year. And that's a record-breaking number. And, we are being very intentional how we assist and uplift people. And I know you're going to see that through your experience in the mentorship program. I think something else that I wanted to share, especially as, we've kind of navigated through the program, some challenges in finding enough mentors. There's never enough mentors to be able to assist in the program. I know that throughout my career, I've always felt like I didn't know enough, or like maybe I wasn't a subject matter expert enough to be able to support others. But what I'll say is that that was a matter of my own confidence, right? My own belief, my own abilities to support others. And truly, there's so much that we carry in as far as knowledge and experience. And no matter your sphere of influence, no matter your classification, there's so much that you can share with somebody else that could be helpful to their career. So if you want to participate in season 11 next year, I highly encourage you, because there's never enough support in the mentorship role, but there's so much knowledge and so much expertise that we all carry here. Despite our classification, we can serve as a mentor. So I just wanted to plug that.
Love it. Thank you, Alina.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was just going to share, I love the plug, and I always think about it like from the perspective of, I don't think there's anything in life, like I think this is like, there's this false sense that we get at some point in our life that we have to know everything and we have to do it independent of ourselves. But really, as humans, just as people, we learn from each other. There's always been someone mentoring me from the time I was learning to ride a bike, to building a pivot sheet, to being a deputy division chief. Like, I'm constantly having to learn, and my mentors, but my mentees that I've had in the program have taught me so much. In fact, there was 3 students from St. Francis High School last year that went out and worked on one of our construction projects, and I met them day 1, and then I came out and met them at the end of it, and I'm not a construction engineer, and just seeing how much they were able to teach me about construction and projects, and like, it was amazing. So you get a lot from mentees too.
Cool. Follow-up question for you. And since you mentioned mentees, there's a question in the chat about the mindset a mentee should have prior to seeking a mentor. So any insight on that?
So I think the biggest thing is be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And what I mean is it's awkward sometimes to build relationships. We put all this pressure on it, and the person has been you and you've been them, and we all operate basically the same. So just be open with them, talk to them, use them, right? They're giving you one of the most valuable things, their time and their experience, right? So get what you want out of it. Be a little selfish and have some fun. And I guarantee you'll build a great, long-lasting relationship along the way.
Love it. Thank you, Tom. Great advice. Christina, anything you want to add relating to mentorship and how that helped you in your career?
I think ultimately you want to be open-minded. I think being vulnerable is super important. I feel like it's the same when finding a therapist. It's like a work therapist. You're talking through some work issues. Things that we all go through from time to time. And it's been super beneficial. Shout out to my mentee in the audience. But it's been amazing. I think I've built some really work-long connections with people, possibly lifelong, who knows. But I still check in with mentees and mentors regularly just to see how everybody's doing, and new things come up all the time, especially as we grow in our careers in Caltrans or wherever we go. We're still learning. So I think it's been super beneficial, and I've learned a lot from my mentees.
I have to add one thing here. One of my biggest mentees has been my parents, okay? And I heard there might be some parents, my mentors, my mentors
I like mentees.
have been my parents, and I heard there might be some parents out in the audience today to one of our board or one of our panelists. So shout out to parents. They did a good job mentoring.
There you go. There are so many questions coming in the chat regarding mentoring. Regarding the Caltrans mentorship program, we will send out information for that. I believe it's closed for this season, if I'm correct, Alina. But we will have links to the mentorship program when we send out this recording. So all your questions will be answered there. And we can also put Alina's contact details in the chat so you can reach out internally regarding mentoring questions. But there was a question about imposter syndrome, which I love this question. And I feel like especially stepping into being a mentor, because that's always the messaging that you deliver with the mentorship program, right? It's like everyone can be a mentor. Everyone has something to offer. I think all of us has probably sat here having experienced imposter syndrome at one point or another. So does anyone want to take this question? How do you handle that? And how do you overcome that feeling of imposter syndrome?
I just want to share that Harriet and I went to a training, it seems like decades ago. I'm not really sure when it was, but we were talking about our negative self-talk and how horrible it is, because we just tried from that morning, because I think it was like a multiple day event. So like we were like, okay, so this morning we're going to wake up and we're going to try to keep track of how much we negative self-talk. And it was just like, even just to the point where we couldn't get our hair dryer or our straightener to work properly. It's just like, it's obviously our fault. So just, I feel like a good first step is just being aware of it, and then, you know, trying to just reframe those thoughts. It's so hard, easier said than done, and we all experience it, but I think it's something that if you're aware of it, it's a great place to start.
Definitely. Great insights, Christina. And I do remember that training, and I remember how much it was like, oh gosh, I'm
I was
really
like,
proud of myself. Poor inner me.
yes. And I was like, I can't even write these down. Like, it's embarrassing. Like, I say this to myself. I would never say that to a friend or a family member or anything.
So there you go. Great exercise for those in the audience. You see that self-talk coming at you, write it down and just dismiss it, because at the end of the day, you should be bigging yourself up, supporting yourself, investing in yourself over anything else. So yeah, love that you referenced that training. Anyone else want to tackle a little insight on imposter syndrome? Any advice for our audience? Anybody? No?
Just one simple thought is that imposter syndrome comes about for a lot of different reasons, right? But I'll say that a lot of the time it's not just you, you know, sometimes systems are really difficult to navigate and they shouldn't be. So it's really easy for us to say like, well, I'm not able to do this, or I'm not smart enough to do this, or maybe I shouldn't be here. But a lot of places weren't meant for us. You know, they weren't designed with certain people in mind. And all of that to say is that, you know, it's important to recognize that first off, but also to look for opportunities to build your confidence. And I know that's not easy. Let me tell you, I haven't been able to overcome my imposter syndrome. I don't know if that's necessarily a possibility. I think that what we could do is we could mitigate it, right? We can look for opportunities to debunk that negative self-talk that comes from experiences in our life, or even the voices of certain people in our life that really impacted us. So gaining awareness of where that's coming from is important. And sometimes in confidence building, and this is, you know, the counselor in me is going to say, sometimes in confidence building, we need help, right? We need help, and that can consist of seeking EAP services to work on your self-image, and working on not self-image of like how you look in the mirror necessarily, but what I mean to say by that is like how we are perceiving ourselves and why we're perceiving ourselves that way. And I promise you that this work that is done alongside a professional can really influence a lot of different aspects of your life, not just your professional life, right? Your personal life in a multitude of ways. But just one simple thing that can be implemented to combat affirmations, to combat, and I already told y'all how, to combat imposter syndrome is having your set of affirmations. Something as easy as telling yourself in the mirror, or, you know, just recording yourself. I know that I have a recording of myself in my notes with some affirmations, hearing myself tell myself that I'm smart, that I'm capable, that I'm beautiful, that I am hardworking, and having that on replay, especially in difficult moments where I'm about to lead a difficult conversation, when I'm about to join CT Talks, having that in my back pocket really serves to build my confidence as well. So that's just some thoughts.
Love it. Thank you for the advice, Alina. I know that's something a lot of us can identify with, so really appreciate that. All right. Well, with that, I know there's been a lot of interest in mentorship and all this. We can come back to it, but we've got a lot of good content to cover, so I'll kick it over to Laura to get to our next question.
Yeah, so Christina, can you share some of insider tips for navigating the challenges of pursuing employment with the state? What kind of resources and services does Caltrans offer to people that are interested?
What challenges? What? I'm so confused. I can't tell you, even before I started state service, which it's generally the same process, I can't tell you how many times I've repeated it or shared it with people all around. And it's so confusing. Even the website's constantly changing and evolving. So is our office. Our team along with Harriet's teams, everyone under Tom's team, and even our district partners like Janae, we're all constantly trying to make our resources better. So some of the things that we have, so we definitely have our landing page. I don't know if you've been there before. It's our Caltrans career page. We'll throw that in the chat. You can access our calendar. It has every event that we're attending across the state. So if there's an event in your district, it'll be there. Tom will show you how to get to that page. We've got some great flyers on there. We've got some on student assistance, volunteer opportunities, things that people don't always think about. We've got a lot of resources on applications and but the biggest thing was the career compass. So it's over here on the right. It's something that we worked really hard on. I say we, but mostly me and Tom. And we're just constantly improving it. So it's pretty awesome if you haven't seen it. It really talks about what it's like working for Caltrans, what the culture is like. And then it goes into specific details on how to apply for jobs, where to start. That's a really big question we're always getting for people coming from the outside. I don't have a degree. Where do I start? And I think ultimately, I remember seeing a question in the chat about finding the perfect opportunity for you. I know for myself, I'm an introverted person. I never thought I would be in the recruiting space, but something I found along the years with various trainings that HR has provided to me, I found out that some of my values and things that I am very passionate about are helping others and meaningful work. And for me, this fits the bill. I can see the impact that I'm having or that our team is having on people outside of state who are looking to get into state, building their careers. Again, I came from the private sector. I was working at a car wash, I didn't think I would come into state service, and it has changed my life. The benefits are amazing. I mean, I've been able to support and provide for my family, and it's been an amazing journey. So the Career Compass is a really great place to start if you or someone you know is looking to get into state service. Doesn't even have to be with Caltrans, although I think we'd all like to have, we all bleed orange. But yeah, it's amazing. I think, yeah, stability, benefits, everything. Job security, especially with COVID, the ability to be able to work from home and in the office is amazing.
Absolutely. Tom, anything else you want to add to that? I think you had the Career Compass up.
You know what I'll add to it is just, it's hard. It's a hard navigation. 17, 18 years ago when I did it, it was complicated. I had to relearn it. So it's not even easy for us that are already state employees, right? And I'm really happy about where we are today. As far as we're really open about the whole process, everything that goes on. We have career counselors that are actually working with people, and whether that be internal employees or the public, and we're really sitting down and telling them how to navigate and how to come join the team, whether, that's Caltrans or another state agency, because it's all the same. It's really nice to see them, because I had to learn through a lot of failures before I was able to figure out how to play the game.
Good point. All right, I have a really good question in the chat I'm going to throw out there right now on this topic. Although it seems most people prefer to work from home, has that environment made it less or more difficult to accelerate in your career? And what advice would you have for those working from home to build better relationships with their colleagues and supervisors? Anybody want to go for that one? All right.
I'll go for a bit from a management perspective. So what I do, because relationships are huge to me, and they can come in a multitude of ways, whether that's virtual or in person. But I really try to make sure that days when I am in the office, that I'm absolutely dedicating a good chunk of my time to being with the team, to being with people, setting independent time to meet with people if they want to talk and meet about something. It's really important that I make that space. Yes, as a supervisor, it might cause me more work later on in the day or, into the evening, but it's really important. And as far as, do I see the hybrid or the flexibility in the work schedule causing or diminishing any returns on career development? Being in HR, seeing the number of people that we hire and that we promote every single day, every single month, I would say no. There's a lot of movement, but I'd love to see what some of the other panel. Janae, what do you think?
I also am on a hybrid schedule, so I too am a big person on relationships, and I just love, I love that when I'm in the office, people want to come say hi, just anybody. So that's really special to me, just that they feel that they can come talk to me. They want to come talk to me and say hi. But I also just love going in. All of our management team have an open door policy. And even just saying like, hey, how are you? How was your weekend? And building those personal, like meaningful relationships as well.
And I will say, just because Tom is my supervisor, I thoroughly appreciate the effort that he makes to check in on us, for that open door policy, even if there's more people in that room. He definitely puts an emphasis on that, and I feel like that's resonated with our teams as well, because with telework, we have some of us have hoteling spaces. Harriet and I, our teams are at our own collaboration tables, and then if we have meetings, we'll go into a hoteling space or something. But we find as much opportunity as we can when we're in the office to collaborate with each other, and it shows. I think it reflects in our work product for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's my experience as well with the teams, is just being able to approach any manager, a different team even, everybody's collaborating. It's just a really great culture there, and it just makes that much more of a difference when you are in office. All right. I think
Thoughts to share if it's okay,
Sure.
Laura.
Absolutely.
So I've been at Caltrans now for going on 1 year, so I'll be celebrating my work anniversary in about a month and a half. And I came from a agency that was 100% remote, which a lot of agencies, had been up until this point, considering the changes in the world. However, something that I noticed, and I think the question was like the challenges of growth during like working remote or virtual. I know something that I noticed is that growth during this time, if you're, not, say for instance, you don't have a lot of structure to meet regularly with your team and things of that sort through telework, it could be isolating. Sometimes it requires some proactivity, right? Of like you reaching out and having like having informal check-ins even. I remember like during that time working 100% remotely, when it was appropriate to meet with others, there was no stay at home orders and stuff like that. I would reach out to my coworkers and say, hey, like, do you want to meet up and meet up at a coffee shop, get some boba together, do some work together, and just be in that space. There's just so much richness in gathering, whether it's through online platforms or in person in other ways. I think that as a heavily extroverted person, I know that my own personality type, like I have no challenges going over and having long conversations with other people, but sometimes for folks that would consider themselves a little bit more introverted, while they have the full capacity to extrovert as hard as an extrovert does, it takes a little bit more energy from them, and it can be more difficult for them to recoup after they they do connect with others. However, I say that like it does require a lot of intention for you to maintain and develop relationships, which are so critical to like the development of your work, of your growth, of tacit knowledge, all of the things. So if you're in a position where maybe you're still working a little bit more and you're still looking to avoid missing out on your possible growth and connections with your team, then maybe you'd want to add like a bi-weekly meeting, check in with each one of your team members, whether you're like, you know, a rank and file employee or manager, to ensure that you're getting that connection and you're offering that connection that other people need. Just some thoughts on that.
Thank you, Alina. Anybody else want to add more to that? All right, so following up on that question number 3 on the resources, check out the chat because there are some links in there that I put in there for everybody. Some great resources, also to connect with this panel on LinkedIn. So take a minute to check that out as well. And I'm going to hand it over to Harriet next.
Thank you, Laura. So there was a question, just because we spoke just briefly then about how Caltrans offers career counseling services. So I don't know if anyone wants to share on how someone in the public can get access to career counselors, but then also once we're here in Caltrans, how can they access career counseling services? I'm looking at Alina, but no pressure.
I'm right here. I'm just making note of everything people are asking. I was getting ready to jump in, y'all. Okay, so
we'll send you the whole chat, Alina. You're good.
Yeah. So for the public, so our area in the career development program under talent management, our expertise is the internal Caltrans workforce. However, we are in the process of and Tom alluded to this a bit ago, of launching a physical career center. And with that, there's various initiatives that are being launched, not only to offer general services and assisting the public in learning about applications and state applications and SOQs and interviews and all the things, to offer also one-on-one support. I will say, you know, we are a small but mighty team. We're working on different efforts to build capacity, and as Tom shares always, is to build multipliers within the state to assist across the regions to ensure that there's career development assistance in all the districts within Caltrans. However, you know, we have a small team, and the way that people would reach out for assistance is going to be number one in coming to the Physical Career Center, and we're going to be launching information very, very soon about how people can do that. And the best way to be in touch with that is going to be, you guessed it, following us on LinkedIn. So if you're not currently following Caltrans on LinkedIn and all the socials, please do. I know that Laura's probably going to share, or she's already shared, our LinkedIn page, so stay attuned to that. And in addition to that, we have our career development program that supports the Caltrans workforce. They are, within our program, our number one priority. We want to help them be upwardly mobile. We want to help them find their niche to really shine and empower them. And they can do that by reaching out to mycareerpath.dot.ca.gov. So it's a dot and then dot.ca.gov. And we'll include that in the chat shortly. That's how the internal Caltrans workforce can gain access to our team, which they'll have access to one-on-one career counseling services from just some phenomenal subject matter experts. I know they're out there watching, so I want to shout out my team of career counselors that just joined us this fall. We are so incredibly privileged to have them here at Caltrans. They are wise, they are skilled, they're the coolest. So I promise you, if you get a chance to work with them, that you are going to enjoy every second of it, because you're going to have the opportunity to work on yourself with the guidance of a career professional. So Caltrans, working at Caltrans has a lot of benefits, including access to that. Otherwise, I will also say that there's other community resources that people can access if, they're like in dire need of career services at like free for the public. And, that's going to be job centers within their region. Those are going to be widely available to you all. And there's some very skilled professionals out there too. So I wouldn't discard them at all. Okay. So I just did want to plug that because there's going to be a lot of resources for the public, and that's a major resource that you all have available to you. And hopefully that answers your question. If I miss anything, anybody, feel free to chime in.
To say that I did love that you dropped in there the multipliers, and it just goes with what we're talking today, because that's not mine. I took that from my mentor, our chief deputy, actually, Mike Keever. He actually shared that with me, and it really got me thinking about how we reach. And then I'm going to give a few secrets here. Our career counselors in our career development program, they work with everyone and have worked with everyone from our entry-level positions all the way up to our C-suite. And the crazy thing is, a lot of the things that people feel are getting in the way as far as where they need to go and they're the same throughout, regardless of enterprise level. So definitely there's a lot that can serve you through the program.
Love it. Wonderful insight. You guys kind of beautifully segued into my next question, which I know we're getting short on time, so we'll try and abbreviate it. But in terms of the career services that Caltrans offers to support our employees in their development, and any strategies or programs that are in place, would anyone like to, because Alina, you've shared a lot on the new Career Center, extremely exciting, and the counseling services. Is there anything else anyone wants to share on?
I think I'll share that we just have a lot of resources, right? That's something that is really, I respect in regards to Caltrans and what they offer. Like, we say people first, but the amount of time, energy, and monies that we put into the development of our workforce really is huge. So, we have things internally like our career development planning workbook that help individuals navigate this conversation with their managers and supervisors, right? Give some great points to bring up and to discuss. We have a lot of academies here in Caltrans too. We have leadership academies. We have occupational academies like our Bridge and Structures Academy, our Right Away Academy. We have a really cool learning and management system for everyone that, has gone to college and used Blackboard. We have the same thing and a host of training. We have LinkedIn Learning, all completely accessible. We have the mentorship programs. Like, we just have so much, and there's so much that's vested there if you want to make yourself available to it. That's the other part, right? But I just feel like we got a lot of really cool resources, and we got people that want to work with you. You just got to be willing to throw in too.
Definitely. I'll also share that something else that is available for Caltrans employees is like within actual departments, there's additional career development resources as well. There's programs that have their own career development programs. So all that to say is that there's resources out there for the Caltrans workforce. Come work for state service. You'll be able to learn and grow a lot. There's opportunities, but it does take a lot of determination, intention, and your own motivation, right? The opportunities are out there, and yes, we have our full day of work. However, if this is something that we're interested in, if we're determined to grow and ensure that we're taking advantage of these opportunities, like sometimes we have to take initiative. So this year, 2025, if your goal was to level up, that's the foundational part of leveling up is taking initiative. And I can share the career development workbook in just a second. I know Laura is also going to be sharing the PDF if available. If not, then our team will look for other ways to share that with you. So follow me if you'd like to see how to access the career development planning workbook. from the internal on-ramp site, you're going to go over to district divisions and programs and look at the plethora of different divisions and districts and programs. You're going to go over to human resources because that's where we're housed under the DHR. And you will go over to the left-hand side in the main menu, and you're going to click on talent management. That is our branch, and career development is within that branch. So you're going to click on career development, and don't get too comfortable with this layout because guess what? It's not going to look the same in the immediate future. So you're going to see the career development workbook here. Please remember that you can click on it. It's going to take you over to another page, which is the PDF version. So that's how you would access that. And I encourage everybody to peek at it. I'm going to stop my share now and I'll turn it over to our host.
Thank you, Alina. I just want to add, I can't add the PDF right now to the chat, so it'll go out in the email with the recorder link with this webinar actually. So along with other links and all this great stuff that we're sharing here, all the great resources. So sure.
So I just want to say too, we have other opportunities. We have so many. We have the training and development opportunities. We have out of class assignments if someone wants to try something new. Mock interviews. We have great leadership team. I think anyone would probably be open to a mock interview with someone. And job shadowing, and for those that are still in college, we have our student assistant program and our volunteer program too. So that's something that I wanted to share in case people didn't know.
Thank you for adding those in. Definitely some more valuable resources there, Janae. Thank you.
I'm so happy we hired Janae. That was a good call. Look at all that info. You know, and one of the things that I'm realizing as you guys are talking, one of the greatest resources we have here at Caltrans that I totally forgot. And, you know, I didn't grow up in the state. I worked in the private sector prior, but it's our 23,000 employees. You know, there's not a lot of, there's not competition for status really here and in public, you know, the sector here at Caltrans. So we have all of these subject matter experts. They want to see the legacy go on of the services and what they bring to the state. And so it's really important that they're focusing on training and developing our up and comers, right? Those that are going to be the future workforce. And so to me, that's so cool. I've learned so much from engineers, our maintenance teams, you name it. And it's just, that's amazing.
Really
Thank
cool.
you, Tom. So we are cutting down on time, like Harriet mentioned, but I'm going to throw this last question out to Tom. So if you can share with some of us that, you know, you're always networking with individuals both within Caltrans and outside of the department. Can you share some of those success stories with us and the lessons to be learned from those experiences?
Oh, my life's full of lessons, Laura. No, it's a great question, and I want to make sure we leave some time for questions too. But, you know, again, going back to what we kind of said earlier, you need relationships. That's how we do things, right? But I think the first thing you have to have if you're looking to create relationships is you have to genuinely care about the individuals that you're going to be in that relationship with. Because if you don't have that and you're just selfish in it, right? Relationships are two-way roads. It's not going to work out. So you got to have that care. And what I mean by care is like when my team or the people I'm working with or people I meet, I'm genuinely listening to them. And I'm taking little notes, you know, this person likes this. This is important to this person, right? Everyone's different, but I keep those, right? And I'm always thinking about how can I bring that up to that person, or how can I, you know, make sure that person knows that I heard that and that I value that because that's part of them. And establishing that relationship with them, it's just a huge aspect of that, right? Being vulnerable in a relationship, it's okay to ask someone. Like I can see team members and I can be like, hey, you know, Alina, how are you feeling today? I noticed like, you know, you seemed a little off, you know, something going on. But I genuinely care, right? I'm not like hoping Alina doesn't say anything and I can walk on to my next, you know, stance. And then another huge one to me is like commitment. If I commit to something, like having that integrity, like I see people that have a need and I'm like, hey, I can do that for you. I think we could figure this out. Let's do this together. but it's that follow through, right? If I say I'm going to do something, it's just how I'm wired as a person. We all have different things, but I'm not sleeping until I know it's done, right? I'm waking up at 3 o'clock and be like, oh my God, I forgot to do something for Harriet because it's that important to me because it was important to her, right? So all those things I think lead to building trust. And once you have that trust and you have that commitment and you have that closeness, right? That relationship should stand the test of time, and there's going to be so much reward that comes from it throughout the years. And this is the same approach I apply when working in the, in the community. Right now I'm doing a lot of work with Job Corps, and I promise those kids that I'm going to work with them and we're going to figure some things out and we're going to teach them how to get state jobs. And it's I'm passionate about it right now, but it's that commitment I made to them and working on it. And it's taken some time, but that's how I apply relationships in my life.
Thank you, Tom. I know that Christina has a really good success story to share as well. I want to head over to Christina if you could talk a little bit more about the P2E program.
Yeah, so we work with a lot of partners in the community and have been into a bunch of institutions all across the state. Working with that population has been very humbling. I remember just recently in San Quentin, we were doing mock interviews with the Last Mile, and they do have this amazing job readiness program. And one of the individuals at the end kind of stood up and thanked the employers and said, we've been reduced to a number here. And it was so refreshing to be called by our first or last name. And I think it kind of brought like tears to our eyes because we can see that we're making an impact in their lives. Obviously they made some mistakes. They definitely, so many of them are looking to give back to the community, making the community a better place when they re-enter the, once they leave the institution and re-enter society. And we're doing everything that we can to try to share that information to help connect them with job readiness resources once they've been released, so that we can do what we can do to reduce the recidivism rate. So, we've met with a lot of individuals and they're just so grateful and thankful that we're taking the time to bring hiring managers, to go over interviews, to give them those skills. And it's been really rewarding.
Such an powerful, impactful success story, Christina. Thank you for sharing that. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Harriet as we're wrapping up.
Now, there's so many great questions in the chat still coming through. So
we could keep going for another hour.
We really could. But we will collect all of those questions and share them with our panelists. So hopefully when they get a chance, they can respond and we'll send those out with the recording. So don't worry, your questions will be answered. I love that Alina said if you're looking for any kind of updates on services, events, anything like that, to follow us on LinkedIn. And there was a question, how important is it to make a LinkedIn profile for my professional development? What would you all have to say to that finally?
Extremely important.
Just do it.
It's the number one professional networking platform. You got to be there.
Yeah. So definitely, go ahead, Alina.
If people don't know what happened, did it really happen? So you need to be talking about your accomplishments, what you do, and how you're contributing to the world.
Yep.
So definitely
connecting
important.
with professionals and following employers, seeing all the jobs that are hiring. It's an amazing platform. So yeah.
And seeing all the amazing different job opportunities that are available within Caltrans. Like some of the things I didn't know, throughout my career because I didn't work directly with that team or that unit. And so it's very amazing just for learning purposes and sharing more about Caltrans, what we're all about, and how we impact the community that we live in.
Next mentee there. You're going to find career development there. I can't tell you how many people reach out to me in my messages, right? So it's all there waiting for you.
Yeah, and if you're worried about your network not being super big when you first create it, you have 6 friends right here. Links are in the chat for our panelists. Laura and myself, always happy to create new connections. Get on there right now if you're not on LinkedIn and follow all of us, connect with us. We'll be happy to connect. But that and more, there's so many questions. So with time in mind, I'm going to just share my final slide. Just because we're wrapping up here. I can't believe it. It's gone so quickly. But thank you so much to our wonderful panelists for such incredible insights today. You've really, really shared so much to inspire and motivate people, and just to know the resources that exist externally and internally is just so huge for individuals. So thank you for your time and expertise. We so appreciate you all. And there's so much love coming through with the emojis. We love it.
It's still coming in. Yep.
So thank you all to our attendees. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for attending. Thank you for investing in
everybody.
yourself, right? In the words of Janae, thank you for really filling your own cup and learning how you can really accelerate your career. Coming back in March, so we are going about it a bit differently this year. We're going to be every other month. We will be coming at you with a CT Talks episode. So make sure you come back in March for a wild time. Laura, do you want to give them insight into what that could be about?
Yeah, so it's still in the works, but last year we did a webinar on wildlife crossings, and we had some environmental scientists on there. It was super just enriching conversation, just so many insights and information and education about what Caltrans is doing for wildlife connectivity projects throughout the whole state. So this next one in March will be from the engineering angle. We're going to have some great panelists for that as well. So join us, learn some more about it, learn more about careers maybe you didn't know exist and what everybody's doing in their careers here at Caltrans. And yeah, we're excited for March. So make sure you follow us on LinkedIn because we will be posting it there.
Laura. Thank you, everyone. If you have suggestions for future topics, please contact us at dhr.communications@dot.co.gov. And when you close out of this webinar, please take a couple of minutes to fill out the feedback survey. We are really trying to enhance this year. Every single episode, Laura and I take time to review that feedback. So we would so appreciate your insight on how we could do better and how we could better support, but also what you love. We love to share that with our panelists as well. So thank you all for your time. Thank you to our wonderful panelists, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.